Today we have a special guest, and we were just talking about mixing chemicals. Lupita, so if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and let people know like your background, and then we'll move on with the conversation from there.
Okay, so I'm Lupita Flores. I have a background in biology, chemistry, and business administration. And I own Drips, which we specialize in automotive care, more specifically in ceramic coating, ceramic tinning, PPF, and wraps.
What's PPF?
Paint protection film.
So the question that was asked right before we went live, right, was that I don't understand how you have a biology and a chemical engineer, or what is it? I mean,
Dang, you throw
chemical engineering.
I never said I was an engineer.
What is it?
Poor.
Biochemical, biowarfare degree, and you don't mix your own products. You just buy them off the shelf.
I have a manufacturer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
At this point, there's really no point in mixing them myself when you have already a company that does it well off.
I just feel like if you have those type of degrees, you should play on them, and then you should special order stuff with your label on it and say these are special chemicals that I made and I clean my cars, and that's what makes me better than everybody else. I mean, this is my point of view. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
This is like the shout out moment, though.
Yeah.
My
What is the shadow moment?
partner is a chemical engineer.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
So spoiler alert, perhaps that's in the works already.
Oh, okay. So I jumped the gun.
She knows.
Yeah, I'm still trying. I mean, at least you have something to do with you're doing something with your degree. I have no idea what Jovani's doing with his.
Collecting dust.
Yeah. He was. His degree is in a strange place.
It's holding up the end of my bookshelf.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What is his degree in?
I don't know, Giovanni. What is your degree in?
Applied science.
Is it
What did you learn?
CAD.
Nice.
CAD and pipe?
Like the old school where they draw it on paper?
A little bit, but we were already using computers at that time. But we did get the intro for that class.
Somebody was telling me that their clients still draw out their plans because they prefer it over the computer systems.
I hear actual architects prefer that.
Yeah. I wonder what the benefits of that is. So introduce the topic so you get right into it. I feel like this was a fiery topic and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, today we're talking about, is it for an entrepreneur, is college really useful? Is it even needed? Should you even take a stab at it before you jump into your dreams of being an entrepreneur? Will it help you, or is it going to hinder you, or are you just wasting time?
Yeah, I do think that college is helpful, but I think it is important to know where you're going to get into. I don't think that aimlessly going to college and picking a degree that you're not going to apply, I don't think that that's going to benefit anyone. And then in today's time, you have a lot of opportunity with trade services, and I also think that watered down the college process as well. People just opted for these trade degrees versus going to college, and it's kind of all in there. For us personally, and for me personally, I did go to college, and I was going to college, I was attending it, and I was sitting in there, and specifically in marketing is the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was trained by a marketing guru, one of the best marketing people I've ever met in my life, the great Nate Balderas here. No, but we did have Nate did teach me a lot of marketing principles and a lot of marketing tactics. So when I was sitting in college, a lot of the marketing tactics that we're using and that were applied were old, in my opinion, right? Or older, right? And we're learning new ones, and we're getting sold by companies, and we're getting pitched every day at some of our meetings. And we're sitting in college, and they're telling us that, or when I was in there, they were telling me that social media is going to die out, that there's not going to be any platform for them to make money, that it's not going to work, and then nothing's going to take down Google. Now, 10, 15 years down the road, you see now the power of social media and the impact that social media marketing had. So for me to stay in college in that marketing aspect that I was going for didn't really make a difference for me. They weren't teaching what was happening today. And now we know in social media with the algorithms and the ever-changing landscape, it didn't matter. What was working 10 years ago is not going to work. I mean, sometimes what was working 3 months ago is not working now. Those things always change. Mm-hmm. But I do think that college lays down the foundation and the frameworks for you to be successful. I didn't really understand that at my younger age, but I did eventually have to go back to reinforce some of that foundation, the frameworks that I needed. But I don't think it's beneficial for everyone. I think it takes a certain mind and, to apply the principles that you learn in college. And I think that's where the disconnect is.
I agree with that. And what I hear a lot of, and I think I even heard it from you too, right? You said, I got my degree just to shut my parents up, right? And the thing is that I hear that a lot. I mean, I just got my degree just to, for my parents. And, we know personally family members, that went to school and got their degree and are doing nothing that has to do with what they got their degree in, And I did not put a lot of importance to school, right? Because, I was just too, I think I had a eight, I'm self-diagnosing, right? I think I had ADD or I had ADHD, whatever they're called, right? But
like epilepsy or something?
Epilepsy, had freaking, Asperger's. But no, something was wrong with me because I couldn't function in school. I couldn't stay out of trouble. I couldn't, go to school every day. But I flourished in the sales industry. I mean, I literally, just learned everything that I could, and it really helped me. My personality really helped me in school. Right now, I have to say that I did go back to school, and the reason I did take a few classes. Right, I did go to school, where I purchased some courses and stuff like that. Right, like night school or like courses from the colleges and stuff. But I had heard years ago, I'm talking about when I was in the sales, I was in new car sales, right? I heard that, Jobs, went to college and wasn't paying for college. He was just going to the classes that he wanted to learn. So what I started doing was I started saying, okay, so what can benefit me in the sales industry, right? And what benefited me in the sales industry was obviously psyche classes, right? Or macroeconomics or like business administration, right? And so my sales career brought me in contact with a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know this, but in 2001, 2001, 2002, the industry, all industry was down, right? That was after 9/11. And there was actually students that worked for me. Law. There were some people that were trying to get their law degree. There was some people, even Jason got his law degree while he was working with me. There was people that were pre-med. They were all coming to the car sales industry because it was deemed that it was easy to easy make money in the car industry, right? And so I started getting connected with these professors, and I actually took some classes. I didn't get certificates or I didn't get accredited for it, right? But I took the classes and I learned. And that really helped me, in my sales career. But I specifically chose and picked those classes to further the career that I was in already. And so, I don't understand, the schooling, how you have to take out the basics and this and that and the other. Sometimes, you end up taking classes that are, in my opinion, they're redundant, and also what I started noticing too, that some classes that I took, the professor was actually trying to preach his agenda and his own personal views on the actual subject, So it really doesn't matter. It's not like a universal subject, right? It's like, it depends on what professor's teaching that subject and how you learn that actual subject, And I just lost a lot of respect for college, honestly.
I think we'll get into the exciting part of the entrepreneurship is that I've always been a true entrepreneur since we were young. And for me, it's always been money. And what moves people to spend their money and to spend their dollar with you. And I had I think I've said this story a couple of times before on this podcast, but, we had one specific story when I was young. We didn't have too much money, and my mom ended up winning some money on a lottery ticket on a scratch off. And she was so excited to take us to freaking McDonald's. And that story always stayed in my mind because I feel like that's where I first realized like the power of money, and then creating a great service that people wanted to spend their last dollar on you. That's how I correlated that at a young age. It was my mom didn't have any money. She won this lottery ticket and she wanted to take us to McDonald's. Like that's what she wanted to do. And I always thought like, dang, like that'd be pretty awesome to build a good product or give a good service that people valued enough to go spend their dollar in. So that started my entrepreneur mindset. And then I feel like, downfall, blessing and a curse. It's my downfall, and it's also kind of what pushes me. I'm sitting in this college classroom and I'm watching, I was in a project management class, and the guy was talking about how he was part of the company of Visa or something, or Exxon, when they were implementing Visa, and how when you put your credit card in, it goes to the, I don't know, server to check that you have enough money to charge your account, and it goes back. And all of that has to happen simultaneously, right? So it's a project system that they had to build out for that. So I'm in the class, and the whole time that I'm thinking was like, he was talking about the money, right? And this guy was truly interested in the process. And all I was worried about was the money. And we're talking about two different things. And it's like, as much as he wanted to teach me about the process, because it's a project management class and I had to pay attention to the process, I couldn't. All I was worried about was how much money that costed, and why didn't he insert himself and make more money on that if he built that out? You know, and it's like, he was proud to build the system for someone else and never wanted to sell the system. And I just lost so much respect for him, even though he built that system himself. He just got a promotion at work and ended up retiring as the vice president of whatever division. But for me, it was always the money. It's always like, no, if I build that, I want a piece. If I build that, I want my money. If I build that, like, I want my fair share of the profit that I'm bringing.
Or royalties.
Yeah, like something, you know? And it struck me as odd, like, what motivated people. Because for me, it was always the money. It's always like, I need to make money, and I want to make money, and I want to do whatever I need to do to get money and get my half. So I think with entrepreneurship, you know, and keeping that theme of money, I wasn't interested in sitting down and learning theories. I wasn't sitting down and learning, you know, what could or possibilities or different outcomes. I wanted the real world mistakes. I wanted the real world experience. I wanted to put my money into my business and make my mistakes by myself versus getting into debt, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, however much, right? And then interest and years of paying that. And then I don't even use a degree, right? I end up, you know, coming to work somewhere else. You know, it always, entrepreneurship, I just feel like your path forward has to be making the mistakes. It has to be doing it. I don't think that college is going to teach you how to like persevere these issues that you have.
Debts in college or debts in the real world?
You know, college might not, you know, help you, I guess, like you said, you know, persevere, you know, how keep on coming up whenever you go down and stuff like that. But I do feel like, you know, definitely college does teach you accountability if you are, and, you know, to like learn or do something. I feel like if you actually are doing it, like, you know, Lupita was saying earlier, that it helped her, you know, keep her maintain like that level of whenever, let's say, the sales of the business are down. You know, in college, a lot of times, like, you just, you know, have to keep on going, even though, you know, you have like those like low grades or whatever. And it's just, the way I see it is just different, I guess, because I love going to school. But it's, I feel like a combination of school and entrepreneurship mind. It's definitely going to take you, you know, to the next level, like, you know, something similar to what Lupita's doing.
Yeah, maybe like a hybrid.
Yes.
I always say, like, in school, I wouldn't, you know, my background's in science, but what I found in science was quite interesting. You have, it's called STEM. So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So you take all these nerds and put them in a building. You take all these nerds, and I'm like, these are like some of the brightest like kids or whatever. Like, they even fly in from like third world countries, and they're smart. I mean, for the first time, I thought I was pretty smart. I felt so dumb in there because you're literally competing with the next engineer, the next doctor, the next lawyer. And I'm not saying, maybe it's not for every single college, but at least in STEM, it's extremely competitive. And it's not like, they don't have a grading system like regular school. Like, hey, you scored a 90, I scored a 95, we both make A's. No. So let's say we're all of us four are in a class. He has a 99, you have a 98, 97, 96. Okay, A, B, C, D.
Damn, why did I get 96?
But like, you're competing in a different environment.
Yeah.
It does cause anxiety and a lot of self-torture. But I feel like that applies to the real world, right? In entrepreneurship, like
Yeah.
you're always competing. You're always on all the time.
Yeah.
And getting up every day when the days that you maybe not making your sales, or maybe it's not going great, and fighting through that, not just physical but mental and emotional capacity. I feel like those are the building blocks that I got from at least my education in STEM.
So you think going to school gave you some type of endurance?
Oh, for sure. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
I think that's a interesting take, considering while you're talking about that, I'm thinking about all the failed entrepreneurs that like give up right away. And, maybe we should do the research on the correlation between a degree and failed entrepreneurship, because I do think that like maybe if you quit on college, then you're going to quit on your career, because it does get difficult and it is hard to keep going. Right. I think very different than, than what I did and maybe what Nate did too, but very different than what I did. I felt that my calling was here. I in retrospect, could I learn some of the things that I needed? Sure. But by the time I got to those classes, the amount of money and time invested, I don't think I would have been okay with that. But I did enjoy my career path, and I do value education, and I do value, learning. And more importantly, I value the implementation of it. And I think that's where a lot of people lack is that, but we lack it all around. Not only in school, you lack it in entrepreneurship, where you learn something, you don't implement, you don't follow through, you don't execute. So I do think that that's just a personality problem that maybe people deal with.
I value education, but I value a la carte education. That's what I value. I don't care for the degree. I don't care for the accolades. I don't care for any of that. I don't care to know what Julius Caesar had to say, unless Julius Caesar's quotes have anything to do with what I'm doing, right? Now, with that being said, right, Vick spent more time in college than I did. I actually went to classes specific, some unaccredited, some just as a bystander buying. I mean, I literally have my college books there, where I bought the book and I took the class, these were friends. I have 3 friends that are professors. I have one friend, another friend of the family is a professor. Let me sit in his class. And I took specific classes that I needed and I wanted, right? Now, like I was saying, all college did for me, right, the classes that I took was essentially put names to things and processes that I already was doing. So, and I think Vick also named some of the stuff. He was like, bro, I know you taught me this, but this is called XYZ. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Or Vick would come with something and I'm like, you know what? We used to do that. That's they're teaching that in college. I learned that, at Charlie Thomas Ford in 1997,
So they just
it's just,
they sold you different concepts.
There's so many different concepts. And named it. They named it. Much.
But now after working with Nate, I realized that he probably skipped the first day where they named the process.
I did.
He's more hands-on.
Nate said, I'm going to go sell this car and I'll be back.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. College Guy? What we got, Jovani? I feel like you like Julius Caesar. I feel like you like the arts and the education and the music.
He does the pipe. He did pipe design, right?
Yeah, I went to the highly sought after school, Lee College in Baytown.
Oh,
and I personally,
Lee?
Ivy League.
Oh, Ivy League. Oh, that's Ivy League.
I personally think that college, or at least the concept of college, is something that everybody should go through at least for at least 2 years. Whether it be an actual physical college where you go and you pay and you learn and get a degree, or it's something that you're dedicating yourself for 2 years and you want to learn and actually go through the process of becoming proficient within that field. So the word college itself, I do think it's gotten a stain on it, because a lot of people get, like we were just talking earlier about these basket weaving degrees, which of course, right, those are just going to school just to go to school and get something, but you should go to school to be proficient. With a purpose. And if you're not going to college, dedicate yourself whenever you're young for 2 years out of your life to try and learn something. And I think that's just going to give you grit. I do think that sales in a big way can substitute college for a lot of people, especially if they don't have something specific that they want to go after. You should throw yourself into sales whenever you're like 18, when you have the chance to fail and it's really not going to hurt you, and you can work 60 hours at a car dealership or in real estate or whatever it is, selling solar panels.
80 hours.
it doesn't matter, right? Whatever it is, you can throw yourself into it. You have not only do you have the time, but you have the energy for it. And if you're hungry enough and you start making really good money at that young age, it's just going to snowball instead of starting later in life. And then you have a bunch of other responsibilities. Sales, if you don't have an idea of where you want to go in life, just jump into sales. It's going to teach you a lot about life in general. You're going to see a bunch of different paths, a bunch of different people who are successful, people who aren't successful, people who just stay in the middle. It can show you everything, and then from there you can take it and then decide where you want to go, or just stay in sales in general.
I want to ask Ms. Drips here. What is
it called? What is it called?
Drips.
Drips. Yeah. Ms. Drips, what is the most important thing you've learned in entrepreneurship? In sales?
Oh, sales? I would say never judge somebody based on what they look.
There you go.
Because I've had people that come and spin, and you wouldn't even think. You wouldn't even think. One of my at that time, he was a client, ended up being one of my best friends. Owns a bunch of hotels, actually. He has like a monopoly in my town. Nice. A bunch of real estate, commercial real estate.
Nice.
If you saw him on the street, you would never even think. He has the same shoes since like 1954. He like the same pair of pants, the same shoes, like same 3 t-shirts. You would never think.
It's because the maintenance on those hotels, man, they're tough.
But you pull up to his garage, you're like, what?
That's awesome.
Sales, never judge somebody by the way they look. And in sales, I think I kind of like what you said. It's very psychology based. And I love that you brought that up, because there is a psychology in sales. Definitely. So like even you said, I like that approach to a la carte, especially like when I do have children. I would actually implement, if you don't want to go to school, I don't think I would force them, but I will encourage them to seek their interests a la carte. Go attend and apply, right? Put it to the test. Have your, this is the scientist in me, put your test, like do your ABC test. Put your control group. Let's see if it works. I would like them to be what I not made up a term, but I like the term hybrid nerd. So it's, a quote unquote smart individual, right? But they also have like the personality, or like the persona, the charisma of a salesman. So when you combine those two, I felt like, especially in STEM, I saw how come all these kids, at the time, how come all like these brightest kids are not gonna, like you said, like they're gonna go to these big companies, but they're never gonna like cash out. Yeah. Right? They're gonna build all these crazy things, these crazy codes, and they were brilliant. Like they were way smarter than I am, way smarter. But they're never gonna like cash out. And then I realized the hybrid ones, the ones that were quote unquote nerdy, but had people skills. Those were the ones that ended up starting their own business, started coding, or like they started doing even consultations, like consulting for hedge funds and stuff like that. They're still salesmen, right? And they get to charge $5, $6, $7, $10,000 a client, 20, 30, 50. And they're the ones that I've seen, with time that have surpassed everybody else. Yeah. So that's my take on it.
So what's interesting is that Vick, whenever he graduated, he could have gone to college. He could have went somewhere else. He could have went to another state, another everything. And Vick chose to stay here. And all his friends went to college to get the quote unquote college experience, right? And he stayed. And I remember when all his friends started graduating and coming back from these colleges, right? They had no life skills. They had no people skills. They had no anything. And quite honestly, I feel bad for Vick, right? Because, these were his friends and he was trying to hire them onto the company, right? And they could not function in this company. Skills. We literally, they have party skills.
They had flip cup. They had that one down.
They knew how to do a lot of stuff, but the thing, but the thing about it is that Vick had hardcore freaking life training, sales training, You know, he knew how to maneuver through a lot of things. He already had a house. He already had a car, you know, a luxury car. He already had everything. And these guys were coming back to start their life 4 or 5 years later. And you know, they were like, hey, I want to get what Vick's doing. And Vick was like, come on. You know, Vick wanted to put everybody on. And they could not hack it. Not one person made it with him. Not one person could hang with what he was doing.
Not a hybrid.
They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. I mean, to this day, there's some people that still haven't caught up with him. There's somebody right now that's trying to start his own, like a new career somewhere else, doing something else. It's like, oh my God, okay, dude, are you serious? I'm gonna go back to school, you know? And you know, sometimes you hear some people, right? And this is always a problem with learned people, right? They get their degree, they come and they try life, and then their life doesn't work out the way it used to be. Oh, I'm gonna go back to school. I just didn't get enough school. Nah, bro. No. You're 40, you're 35 already, bro. It's done. Yeah. No more school. Get your butt out there and do it. There's nothing that you can learn. There's nothing that you can do in school that's going to help you, you know, excel and be better at what you're doing. It's you, you know? And you know, and that's another problem that I have with real estate agents that are educated, you know? They come into this industry, right? They have a degree, you know, I had a realtor one time, had a master's degree, right? And they're like, "Oh, I want to get all my designations, right? Oh, I'm a designated new home sales counselor." All right, bro. Come on. You know, you took a 30-minute class, now you're a pro at new home sales. Come on. They want to collect all these, you know, designations, right? Yeah. And they're not useful for what I need them to do. They're not useful for the sales experience, you know? So, you know, I mean, that's just my opinion, right? Coming from a person that, you know, I didn't get a degree. I don't have a degree. I have a degree in the field, right. But I don't have a degree.
And I'll piggyback off of that. It almost makes me angry that I do have a degree, because a lot of people will tell me, well, the only reason you're successful is because you did get a degree. And I like to correct them, and I'm like, no, there's many people that I graduated that they're nowhere near me. They're nowhere near me. And if you're just like a biologist, let me tell you, the pay sucks. I don't know if I can say sucks on the podcast. Yeah, if you just want to be a biologist, you're maxed out, tapped out at like $85K if you're good. $85K. And that's like, you are one of the top dogs.
You got to be one of those scientists like the Breaking Bad guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wait, so I looked up your page. You do the buffing?
That's marketing.
Everything.
Yeah, the ceramic coating.
Well, hold on. She said, so you're not actually the buffer or the worker?
Yes, I am.
You do?
If I could wink.
Okay. Okay.
And her team is all girls.
We're all girls. Well, there's some guys too. There's a guy
here who looks like Chris Peña, dude. I'm gonna send it to you.
Don't send me the guys.
I'm gonna send it. Dude, it looks like Chris, bro. I think it's Chris.
Well, we were talking about entrepreneurship and education, and she was saying that she liked like a controlled STEM environment. If I can do like a controlled, you know, Breaking Bad scenario, you know, for kids growing up where they wouldn't get in trouble, I'd probably do that. I think that kind of entrepreneurship is the best kind. Teaches you a lot about inventory tracking, sales, intimidation. It's a great start, but bad repercussions.
Lupita, so do you think that because you know, going back to what people, you know, has told you that you're successful because you have a college degree, do you think that actually that has been a part of you being successful?
The way it come across is to me when individuals have told me, like, it's not like, oh, it's part of it. They kind of just say like, this is the only reason why, or as in because they can't start something. It's like, no. Yeah. It is a very small fraction, really, actually, my education that came into it. Most of it was perseverance, and it was really actually more like psychology more than anything. Yeah. It really is. Right, there are building blocks, but I think the building blocks only got me to, like, if I would say in a percentage, like 30%. Yeah. Which is good. Like, I'm glad I got that 30%. But the 70% was just me hustling, really.
I think I saw some. You're from Mexico City, no?
Yes.
¿Te pusiste las pilas, no? No.
Eso sí.
Esas las trae puestas.
Desde chiquilla.
There you go. That's awesome. That's the explanation. There you know.
What part of Mexico City are you from?
You know, I say Mexico City, but it's just like lower because nobody knows. It's actually like it's lower. It's Toluca. But nobody knows it. It's like when you say right? You say I'm from Houston, but I'm really from Dayton. You know, I live in Dayton, but
I've
you
never
say
heard a Dayton person say that.
Toluca, Liberty.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
get
but
the
Toluca is prettier than
connection now.
Mexico City.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying.
I think anything is prettier than actual Mexico City, but
Yeah, I better quit disrespecting my city, dog.
CDMX.
yeah. But I don't know.
It's a beautiful city. They have great libraries.
I've never been to St. Louis.
One.
I know Flor got a ranch in St. Louis, and she won't invite us. But
Flor looks
You
like
won't
she,
go.
wherever she goes, she looks like she has some fun.
wherever Flor goes, you have to get there by donkey. Why do I always see the donkey whenever you're doing videos in your rancho?
You got to pay homage to the donkey.
Oh,
I do see the donkey.
Yeah,
Wait, back in
like,
Liberty, right?
Like your luggage gets taken by the donkey to
Oh my
the hacienda or something.
Dang.
damn. That's aggressive.
That's fun.
That is fun.
Is there any negative sides to you going to college and then jumping right into business that you've seen or that you've seen in other people?
They're entitled.
Man, that's
Like
just
they're entitled.
yeah, definitely.
Like, and me, I would say like humble people shouldn't say they're humble, but me, I like to. I don't even like to bring it up that I did get a degree, unless. But I will say, with certain different groups, you do get treated differently. I remember when I started washing cars, like literally, we were bootstrapping it back then. I was outside, I was like hustling, I was sweating, man. It was hot. It was summer. I've never worked outside my day. By the way, I have so much respect for people who work outside. Like, I've never worked outside. I've never even had a job, really. I was funded by my father, but one time I think it was one individual came up to me, and she started talking down on me. Like, if oh, you're whatever. Like, I don't think she was gonna pay me. I think her like bill was like $100, and she was gonna pay me. And she's like, oh, you're just like a normal, like whatever. You're just washing cars. You ain't nothing. Like, really talking down on me and my education. And she hit that, girl, I had a teacher. Hold him up. Don't come at me like that, because I did go to school and I don't even like to tell people, okay? But even if I didn't, the arrogancy, the ignorance that just because I did, technically if I didn't, you wouldn't have paid me. But let me tell you, I come from resources. At that time, my brother's an attorney. You don't want to pay me, I'll sue you. I have the power of social media as well. I have my brother, I have a resource, but I shouldn't even have to even say that. And that's sad, because not everybody has that quote unquote research or that backup, right? And it makes me kind of like angry. Like, I can only imagine like the small business landscaper, the small business, like, that get taken advantage of by people who just almost like belittle you because you don't have one, right? And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
And I have some of my college friends, when they got out of school, they were like, well, I should get a job like this. Like, anything I do, I should get it. And they got a slap of reality when they didn't get a job, they didn't get a job, or they didn't get the pay that they quote unquote thought they deserve, And I'm like, well, that's the real world. That's the real world.
Yeah. And
someone went up to got a master's, and they're like, well, I still can't find a job. Like, it's the system, like, what, because they were sold, right, this dream. And I was like, yeah, but you're also forgetting this is only the building block, right? We go back to, this is the 30%, but you still got to do the 70%. You got to put in that work. You got to get in that hustle. You got to know people.
Yeah.
You have to know people and get along with people. Your people skills, guess what? They suck. Mm-hmm. So go back to them psychology classes. Take a few notes.
Yeah.
Go sell some stuff. Go listen to Joe Rogan. I don't know what you got to do, but you got to get your people skills up.
Yeah, I don't think they have like psychology classes in Lee College, because like all the people that have degrees at Lee College, they have no people skills, and they're really racist.
Hey, I went to Lee College.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Pause.
I took it.
We both took psychology classes at college.
It's mandatory.
We didn't ask if you took them. Did you guys pass them?
Yeah.
I got the highest score in that.
They have Spanish. They have Spanish psychology classes at Lee College.
Damn.
No.
I took them in Mexico.
I'm just asking.
I don't know. I didn't go there.
That's a low blow, Nate. That's a low
For
blow.
real.
But you didn't hear. She said, "I didn't go there." She said,
Shout out to Lone Star.
"That's Vick's
Same.
college, isn't it?"
Same. Yeah.
Jules is over here nodding the head like.
Hey,
All-star alums.
This is true story. I actually went to college at U of H. I went to Rice. I took some Lone Star classes too. But yeah, I went to some pretty heavy classes. I knew professors there, and they gave me free classes.
Florida went to Harvard de Mexico.
Harvard de Mexico.
Do they have a Harvard in Mexico?
They do. You ever seen it on Instagram?
Oh man, that's funny. Now, me and Flor, funny enough, not even considering this topic, me and Flor were talking the other day about how kids in school are just wasting their time. She's not going to send them off to other states because they just like to play. And then I was watching these like Alabama's, Auburn's, Tennessee's. It just happened. I think we were talking about it, and it's this girl talking about, look what your kids come to do. And they're just playing soccer in their front yard. They're drinking in the middle of the day. They're playing beer pong on Tuesday, 11 o'clock, just enjoying, just having a great time. You know, shout out to them, but not my kids.
I think that's why I'm a good mom, because I got to enjoy that at a young age.
There you go.
But I think going back to that, right? I saw actually a meme the other day, or actually today. I sent it over in the group chat, getting ready for the podcast, and it said the guy who went to college and didn't pass any of his classes but made connections was like the guy who made all the money.
Yeah.
So I do think there is a point to going to college, and even if you're going to go to one of those fun schools or whatever it may be, but take advantage. If you are the party type of person, the person who likes to make friends and stuff like that, take advantage of it, build the connections, because the people who aren't, they will appreciate that, and then they'll take you to places you can't get with your grades, you know.
Yeah.
But you get there with your people skills.
It's what to say, who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, I have respect for people who have an education. It's just that I don't think that you need an education to be a successful entrepreneur. And some of the best entrepreneurs don't have the education. They don't need it because a lot of times in my opinion, education hinders you because it makes you do things their way, and sometimes you have to do it your way to be different. You know.
So it's like creative block.
Yeah.
Creative. Yeah.
Now, on the other note, right? You know, I know you've said that you have a business, right? And it's run by women, for women. I don't agree with that.
Not about 4 women. It's 4 men, women.
See, I don't agree. I don't agree.
She said we need the men to pay.
I don't agree with any business that singles out, you know, that just like, you know, all woman business and all man business. I always feel like whenever you separate stuff like that, you always leave out a component needed, right? You need both men and women and different races, different everything, different mentalities, because if not, you'll never grow. You'll be stuck in that bubble and you'll be stuck there, you know? And that's just my opinion, right? You know, I haven't put it to the test, right? Because I don't have a college degree to be able to run tests on that, you know, but I would like to, or if somebody wants to run the test like that, I would happily help them. And
with that being said, Lionsgate Realty is not getting rid of their DEI programs.
Does that mean we should be getting rid of them?
What Nate just said, that he enjoys it, so I guess we're not getting rid of it.
I guess we're not getting rid of it.
That's what we're going to announce Friday, that we're getting rid of that.
No.
Nate's throwing me for a curveball right here.
Guess I won't wear my red hat on Friday.
That's terrible, dude.
Oh, man.
All right. Go ahead, Vic.
I was like, speaking of the red hats, while we finished that up, I remember when the Donald Trump hats first came out. Nate and I were in the park in downtown. And I was about to it was the day that we were looking for the site to do the proposal for Damaris.
Yeah.
I was in a proposal to Damaris, and that one guy was wearing the MAGA hat, and you ran up, you were like, hey, Nate's yelling at this guy like across the whole field. Hey, turn around, you. And the guy
he started
walking
running
fast.
Yeah.
And then Nate was like, come here. The dude starts running, and Nate like runs up on him. He's like, I want to take a picture with you. The guy like turns around, takes a picture with Nate. Oh.
Yeah, people were scared. Right now, they're not scared. They're wearing their MAGA hats proud.
Fun times.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys. Education for an entrepreneur could be a double-edged sword. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody exit out. first, we'll start off with Lupita. Let them know where they can find you and remind them again about what your business is.
So I'm Lupita Flores. You can find me at Mobile Drips on Instagram and TikTok. And we're an automotive spa.
Oh, let's go. I am Victorino Cortez. I'm the president of Lionsgate Realty. We are hiring. We are recruiting. I'm looking for good, qualified agents that did not go to college because you guys make more money. But here we go.
Is that a stat?
That is true.
Oh, really?
People that didn't go to college, they make a lot more money in sales. They always have.
Yes.
I believe that.
Yeah, it's true.
But sales only.
And you know what? Honestly, if you have a criminal record, even a plus, you make way more money.
I can see that too.
Yeah, it's true. That's tested. That's a proven.
That was in a
That has
controlled
been tested in my
environment.
family too.
That was tested in a controlled environment, and I have proven that. So I have,
In my family too.
Right.
It's living proof. Yeah.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is Flor Velasquez with Lionsgate Realty. You can find me on my social media as Flor Velasquez Realtor. If you're going to college and you don't know what to go for business.
Flor, where can we find your degree at? What website?
Get the
There's
website.
no website.
Go ahead. Sorry. My name is Nate Valderas. You can find me on all my social media outlets at Better Call Nate.
And I am Jovani, a realtor here with Lionsgate Realty and the host of the HBR podcast. You can find us live every single Thursday. Until next time.
Bye.